Here we go outside to play. When it's time for you to enjoy the wide open spaces of northern Michigan, Shanty Creek will be there to welcome you with over 275 lodging options, 42 downhill ski and snowboard runs, and plenty of outdoor fun in Bel Air and online at shantycreek.com.
This Christmas, get a gift card you can sink your teeth into. In Gaylord, enjoy a juicy burger at Alpine Tavern or the best Neapolitan pizza at Crave. 2 outstanding restaurants. And now, buy a $50 gift card from Alpine or Crave and get a free $10 gift card for yourself. Great food is always a valued gift. Gift cards that give you a little extra at Alpine Tavern and Crave in Gaylord. It's where you go for Up North flavor.
It's time for the Northern Michigan High School Sports Scoreboard Show on Up North Sports Radio with your host, Rich Calkins.
It is time for the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, and brought to you by Sarah Ford of Gaylord and Sarah Ford Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram of Kalkaska. Start your stress-free car shopping experience when you search Sarah Kalkaska and Sarah Gaylord. Rich Calkins and Jerry Coyne in studio with you this morning. And JC, the last show before the Christmas break here, and a lot of basketball around the north last night, starting with Traverse City West over in Alpena. Always a tough place to play, a very unique gym, a gym you've played in back in the day. It's the same. It's exactly the same. So,
was it packed?
It was reasonably packed.
Okay.
They had no school yesterday up in the Northeast. They had a little nor'easter there with some snow. And so no school, so a lot of people came out for the event, and it was a physical, chippy game, got a little edgy at times.
Okay,
but,
good.
Yeah, so West was able to come out with a big 63-48 win, which is always good. They played a zone, did Alpena the entire night.
Good for them.
And so, and they played it well. It kind of threw West a little curveball there and made it a whole lot more interesting.
There's nothing wrong with zone. I mean, look at, Syracuse made
you
won
can
a
win a championship that way. Heck yeah.
They went to 2 others. Yeah. So, I mean, that matchup zone, 2-3 matchup zone, if you ingrain it in your system, it's kind of like running the veer at Kingsley. You know, it's something that you just continue to do. And you do it from the lower levels all the way up, and like you said, it becomes second nature to you. Yep. And it can be very effective. A real matchup zone is a problem. It is. If you have the right size, and your players commit to the principles of it, because you can't practice it. Right. Yeah. You can't do. Yeah. Because you can't. You can't get your second team to replicate that defense. That's right. 6'8", 6'9" guys with long arms and quick feet. And I'm sure Alpena didn't have 6'9". Right. Guys. No, but again, as I told you earlier, they have a big 6'6", about 250 kid in the middle. Yeah. Big country that gave us problems. I bet. And he's so physical, down low, plays football. And he just sports the mullet. He's perfect for what again called him big country all night. Sure. And he gave us some problems. He probably had 18 points and 22 rebounds. That's exactly right, and a lot of them offensive rebounds. Yep. And so that was the way Ron Kramer played. I mean, you're talking about a name, but he was an All-American in basketball. He was center at 6'2". Wow. In the Big Ten, even in the 50s, that's a small center, but I mean. He averaged 14 rebounds a game in the Big Ten. Exactly. If you know the art of rebounding, you don't always have to be the tallest guy on the floor. You can. Using the Grayling background, Jerry St. Germain was 6'1" and led the league in rebounding for 2 years straight because, again, he knew how to read the ball off the rim, put his butt on people, box people out, and was a great, fantastic rebounder. If you have if you're both going for the ball and you've got a football player getting in there with his shoulders and everything else, he's going to get that ball 9 times out of 10. That's exactly right. Yeah, no question. So, that's I like that. I like kids that it isn't their first sport, that still have the desire to go out there and play hard and win their battles. Exactly. Win their battles, and they play a vital role on that team. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because if they didn't have that,
they wouldn't really have anything because, again, he is such a key component to that team. So they've won, Alpena has won some games. You can see why. They made some threes. They got that crowd into it.
Good.
Had a little issues at the end. And anyway, it was a great game. And Coach Ballman addresses it here on his post-game show. And as we talked to him and Lincoln Lockhart, who was our Jimmy John's player of the game. Welcome to the Coach's Corner, brought to you by Michigan Trailers. Rich Calkins along with head coach Doug Ballman of Traverse City West. Doug, a game that was real interesting at times. Team played really hard, real physical at times, but anytime you get a road win in the Big North, you walk away with a 63-48 win. It's a good win.
It is, especially in Alpena. Long trip. Tired legs, whatever it was. That zone gave us some problems early on until we kind of figured it out. We knocked some shots down, attacked well. I was real happy with our second half performance defensively. The first half was a little slow, but again, resiliency of these boys and their ability to come out and continue to play showed in the second half.
It did, and Coach, it shows the balance of the team. Mason Zimmerman scored almost 20 points last game. Unofficially didn't get a point here, but then you had other kids stepping up. Winslow Robinson, scoring-wise, always plays tough defense, but had his best scoring game of the year.
He did, always played it, and we knew he was going to. And I told him he just needs to shoot more, and he got some of those opportunities today in that zone and made some big baskets for us to contribute. And just his defense, his ability, his athleticism really, got to them at times. Obviously, some of the touch fouls going back and forth during the third quarter. I think it was 5-0 in the third quarter fouls against us, and that's always tough when you want to be able to get them to play hard and they don't quite know what that limit is.
Sure.
But again, their resiliency, they played through it and got the job done.
Yeah, Coach, when you went to your small lineup, you took Grubb out, brought Graham Hetherington. Graham Hetherington scored some points and played tough defense.
He did. He got our Hard Hat Award winner there, came in. He seems to be in the right spot at the right time, knocked down some good shots for us. Got tasked with guarding the big fella there a few times and did well. He got 4 fouls for us, but again, some of those probably could have gone either way.
Right, yeah. Caden Stoops, a big performance tonight as well. And, of course, this guy here, Lincoln Lockhart, big-time game, too, unofficially 20 points tonight.
Yeah, Lincoln came up real big for us in the second half. We made some adjustments in that zone to get him more active, and he, through his cuts and flashes, he was able to get downhill, make some shots, and then the nice thing is he's able to kick out and create some of those open shots, and we knocked threes down when we needed to. Yeah, Coach, you ran the full court pressure here and there to change things up a little bit. Were you happy with that, or were there some things that you'd like to improve upon? There's always things you can improve upon, every game. I liked some of the aspects we got out of our full court press, but our rotations are a little slow at times. But again, it sped them up enough that got us some of the looks we wanted. Yeah. Coach, congratulations. We're now 6-1, still sitting atop the Big North Conference going into Christmas. You couldn't ask for a better Christmas present. No. Like I said, was that 6? We say 6 in a row for us there, and get some time off. We'll get some hard practices, get them up and down, and be ready for. I think January 4th is our next game. So, real proud of these boys. Again, they just put in the effort night in and night out, and these are the results. Even in some tough battles, they come out and they prevail. Coach, I take it Lincoln is your Jimmy John's player of the game? He is. He just came out with a great defensive effort there, just his enthusiasm, right? We always need that leader. He was real vocal. He got into it, got a little chip on his shoulder there, which we always like to get out of Lincoln and see that come out of Lincoln. And he showed up and put up some numbers for us that we needed when we needed it. So, right. Absolutely. And we're going to go with the Fox Motors motivated player of the game. We're going to go with Winslow Robinson. Great choice. Yeah. He worked hard for us, got some points that he's been wanting here the last few games and had some good looks finished for us, but always a great effort from Winslow. Well, congratulations on the win. Merry Christmas to you, Coach, to you and your family. And let me talk to Lincoln. Sounds good. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Appreciate you guys. Safe travels. We'll see you after the new year, Coach. Thanks, Coach. All right. Lincoln Lockhart joining us here in the Coach's Corner. Lincoln, big 20-point performance. Things looked like they got a little chippy out there at times, but you guys overall maintained your composure and got a big win.
For sure. We knew coming to Alpena, it's always a physical game. It's always closer than it should be, but, they're a tough team. They play defense hard, and it's a different game when we start hitting shots. Once we started to break down their little zone, then we started to get rolling, then started to open it up. But I'm just happy that, we got the win at the end.
I guess. All
that
right,
was that's a hard out as
an
they come.
abrupt ending to that interview there. Don't know what happened to that, but yeah, it was good. Coach Bauman and then Lincoln Lockhart, our leading scorer on the team, had a big time game, and with 20 points again. And just West is sitting at 6-1.
Yep.
Their only loss, a non-conference game, their very first game of the year. So they're on a 6-game heater right now. Going to have a pretty long, almost like
2 weeks off.
2 weeks off.
Yeah.
Don't play again until January 4th, and that's a Saturday at Muskegon Reese Puffer. So interesting road game there, and then we have 6 days off, and then we play Traverse City Central.
Okay.
At Central. So
Central with a new coach and a team a team that's playing pretty good basketball too.
Very good. We're going to talk to Luke Johnson in about 20 minutes here.
Okay.
I talked to him about that Traverse City Central team, how Owen Reibel is doing on the team, just a junior.
Yeah.
So he's got basically 2 years there left on varsity. We'll see about it, how his older brother Anthony is doing. Had that horrible injury during his senior year last year. One of the better players in Northern Michigan.
Is he playing?
I don't know. That's what I want to find out, if he's able to chase his dream of playing collegiately.
I think I'm getting him confused with the other kid who went to play baseball. St. Francis's.
Yeah. They had
so
different.
Hard.
Yeah,
we need a program.
We do, absolutely. But again, the team is playing well. Mason Zimmerman, who scored 18 points in our game against Cadillac, didn't have a single point in this game, and still the West didn't skip a beat. Other people filled in. Yeah, it's just this team is really crazy. How Mason was so good off the dribble there. Obviously couldn't do that in the zone against Alpena. And it just just played a different role, still played tough defense, still did the things he needed to do to get the win, and didn't bother him a bit. He's that kind of kid. He's like, if I score, great. If I don't, great. I can help in other ways. And Coach, we pressed more last night than we had all year. Usually West.
That makes a lot of sense if you're in a zone and you're struggling. Your offensive sets aren't working.
Yes.
So you got to figure out to get more possessions.
That's right. Yeah, and that's exactly what it did. And the coach would call it off occasionally. Then it would go implement it back and forth. I like that strategy of the on and off, because again, then they don't fully know when it's coming at them.
Yeah.
And it kind of surprises them at times. You don't want to give up those layups on the other end. If you give up a couple of those, you may have to call it off and change something up there a little bit. But
so what happened at the end of the game?
At the end of the game, the buzzer sounded. West won convincingly there for 63-48, and then Lincoln Lockhart, a player of the game.
Was it right at the buzzer?
No, it wasn't. No, it was after. It was definitely after, and he was just standing there with the ball, and everyone's getting ready to go into the handshake line. Lincoln just dunks the ball. Well, the crowd at Alpena was none too happy about that.
No, that is, I don't know. Well, you said the ref called it technical.
The ref called it, which again,
you can't do that. That's against the rules. But that's like, what does the next team they play get 2 free throws?
Exactly. How do you issue out the punishment of that? Does it just go in the official scorebook as a technical foul and whatever, and it goes out into the ether?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I know that is bad form.
It is. Oh, it is. It is. Agreed, for sure. I thought the same thing, because the game was over, so I'm quickly adding up my scorebook and making sure I match up what the score and all of that.
And the Alpena fans were not happy.
Not happy at all. And I didn't see what had transpired. I'd asked JJ what had happened, and he said, "Well, Lincoln just dunked the ball right now," and a bunch of the grandparents and parents from Alpena were calling all those rich kids from Traverse City, and it was.
Coach Bauman should have made him run a rack.
Yeah, and of course, and then we do our post-game interview right in front of the whole thing, and they're all just watching our post-game interview, and it was just, it was truly a hostile environment, and it was a lot of fun. So good times had by all.
Yeah, Lincoln. Give me.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Don't do that again.
But like Coach said, he likes Lincoln playing with an edge. And of course, within
I get it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I always played with an edge. I wasn't talented enough not to play with an edge.
No, you have to. That's your role.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what you do. It's getting under the other team's skin.
Yeah.
It's
Bill Lambier.
Yeah. If I don't put a lot of points on the board, well, I'm going to keep you from putting points on the board, and I'm going to take you out of your game, make you go to your plan B.
Exactly.
Yeah. So those are the things.
That is the theory, at least.
That's it. All in theory.
But the game is over and you've won.
Yes.
You know, so I don't know. I obviously you didn't ask Coach about it. I might have.
Yeah. Yeah,
bad journalism, Rich.
Yeah, I know, exactly. It was. Yeah, we will. I'll have to get the lowdown from Coach here later on for sure. But when we come back, we're going to have head coach Ryan Benzenberg from Cadillac. It's been a while since Ryan has been on the show. They had a huge win up at previously undefeated Petoskey, 55-51. We'll get the details of that. You're listening to the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, brought to you by Sarah Ford of Gaylord and Sarah Ford Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram of Kalkaska.
Hi folks, Jim Jeffries for Michigan Trailers in Traverse City, Northern Michigan's volume leading utility trailer dealer. We have over 200 trailers in stock from America's top brands including SureTrack, Impact, CargoMax, and now offering AirTow. All clearly marked at volume value pricing. Add to that full service, parts, plus accessories, and Michigan Trailers can solve all your hauling needs. See us today on US 31 South across from Menards, Traverse City, or visit us online at michigantrailers.com.
Sarah Ford in both Gaylord and Kalkaska has Christmas deals that just might alter your wish list. Sarah has 2024 Ford Bronco Sports for an astounding $349 per month, plus outstanding selections of Ford Super Duties available at just 4.9% for 72 months. And the best-selling Ford F-150 is just 1.9% for 60 months with $1,000 back in holiday cash. Visit Sarah Ford for the best service, the best price, and the best rates in the area. Sarah Ford in Gaylord and Kalkaska, guarantees it.
Join the Traverse City Record Eagles 11th Annual TC Trim Down. It's a great way to get healthier, and you could win a share of $1,800 in valuable gift certificates. Male, female, and co-ed teams of 2 or 4 can register now through January 7th for just $10 a person, a portion of which goes back to local food pantries. Achieve a healthier you over the 10-week virtual competition and benefit for a lifetime. Register now through January 7th at tctrimdown.com.
QTA is ready for winter. Is your car or truck? Hi, Tom Boland from Quality Trucking Auto in Grayling. We all love living here, but snow, ice, and salt don't love your car or truck. At QTA, we can undercoat or rust prevent starting at just $500 to help extend the life of your baby for years. A QTA gift card is a fantastic way to please that someone special in your life. See everything that we can do at QTAonline.com or call 989-745-6127 and beautify your baby today.
Tune in to Up North Sports Radio every Friday between 8 and 9 a.m. and then again at 5 and 6 p.m. for the Cross Country Ski Report. Brought to you by Hanson Hills, Old Lake Road in Grayling, and online at hansonhills.org. 101.1 WGRY, Up North Sports Radio.
Welcome back to the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, brought to you by Sarah Ford of Gaylord and Sarah Ford Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram of Kalkaska. Rich Calkins and Jerry Coyne in studio with you. And joining us now is the head coach of the Cadillac Vikings, Ryan Benzenberg. And Coach, you guys traveled up to Petoskey last night and came away with a big 55-51 win.
Hey, morning, guys. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. Yeah, it was a good battle for our guys. We got punched in the mouth in the third quarter and found ourselves down by 9 and figured out a way to battle back. And I really challenged our seniors to kind of right the ship, and they did a really good job with it, and I feel good to be able to get out of there with a win for sure.
Yeah, Coach, I mean, previously undefeated Petoskey, they had been playing really good basketball, and shows a lot of character of your team there to rally back from that deficit.
Yeah, I'd say so. Particularly, they did a really nice job. Coach Tam had his team prepared. They did a really nice job kind of neutralizing Kyle McGowan for us, and he only had 5 points, so we had to figure out some other ways to put the ball through the hoop, and we had a couple guys step up for us, which was nice. So now if we can figure out how to get that production out of those couple of ancillary guys and get Kyle on track, then we're starting to cook a little bit offensively. But we've struggled in the beginning of the year here to kind of figure out our identity on the offensive end of the floor. And I think last night will be a big step to helping us to continue to grow there.
Yeah, Coach, it's always nice when you see you're sitting there, at 5-1 right now, and you don't play again the rest of this calendar year. You start again in January. But what are some things you're happy with so far with this team, and what are some things you'd like to see some improvement in?
Yeah, I think the defensive end of the floor we've been really good. I think 4 of our 6 opponents we've held under 40, and that we feel really good that if we're going to be able to hold teams under 40 points, we're going to be in a position to win the game most of the time. So I think I'm really excited with that. And with that said, there's still some work to be done there. So to be able to build on that while still holding teams down, and I think our rebounding margin's been really good. For the season, we're averaging in our 6 games like plus 16 on the glass. So if we take care of the basketball rebound, I feel like we're always going to be in a position to at the end of the game to be there and have a chance to win. Now, conversely, on the offensive end, I think us coaches knew coming in it was going to be a little bit of a learning curve to figure out how to replace the scoring that we lost when Charlie Howell graduated.
Sure.
And it's actually taking us a little bit longer than I thought it would to kind of figure that out. And some of our 4-year seniors this year, who have always kind of been, the second or third option in our offense, are now the first option. And frankly, I've struggled to figure out how to put them in the right positions, and they've struggled a little bit to take on that head scoring role. So we're still trying to figure that out. Last night's game will go a long way to that. Grant Williams, who is a senior that's been on varsity for 3 years, who by his own admission has not played great the first couple games of the year, had 15 points last night, 4 threes all in the second half, and kind of led the charge. So if we can continue to get that production and Eli Maney, Gavin Gates, and Kyle McGowan figure out that scoring piece, I think we'll be in good shape.
Coach, that's a pretty common problem. I've been talking about that for a while now on this radio program. It's so common to have a kid as a junior who's the second banana, who's, gets a lot of shots up and has a really good season because he's not the focal point of the offense. And then when it's time for him to step up and be the star, most kids fail in that role.
I would agree with you. And I'll use I have a 4-year player. His name's Gavin Gates. He's a 6'6", kind of point forward for us. And we had a very nice conversation on the way home from Petoskey last night. And he's seeing the team's #1 defender most times now this year. Where in years past, the other team's so focused on, all right, we got to keep Charlie Howell under control. We got to keep Kyle McGowan off the glass. Now Gavin's getting that all attention. He struggled to figure out to pick his spot. So I think you're spot on with that. And there's some maturity level to that, right? My guys are big time into watching film and trying to figure out how to get better in that aspect. And frankly, I and our coaches need to do a better job of figuring out where they are successful and try to get them the ball in those positions. So that'll be something that I spend some time self-reflecting on in this little break we have here to figure out how to put our kids in a better position to succeed offensively.
To be perfectly frank with you, I don't know how much of it is going to be film study versus getting used to having that pressure. It's easy to make your shots when the kid that's guarding you is a step behind. A lot of times when this happens, these kids end up getting double teamed. And so it's way harder to play basketball when 2 guys are guarding you instead of 1. So some of it's got to be want to, and some of it's got to be improved quickness and just overall working harder at your game.
Yeah, and I'll couple everything with what you just said with having guys like, my Grant Williams, my 6th man, 7th man, to be able to come in and stick a jumper when they're open. So now the defense has to respect that a little bit more. And that full double team, maybe it's only a half double team, or they're not coming as quickly because they know that there's a shooter out on the wing. It makes so much difference, and there's so much more space when that happens. So hopefully we can keep this momentum from Grant, and I have a freshman on our team, Dominic Wing, who's done a really nice job, who's a wing player, can shoot a 3. So as both of those guys continue to get comfortable, I agree with you, but if we can make the floor get stretched out a little bit, it would make things so much easier.
Yeah, well, and the other thing is, if you make that quicker pass and that pass comes back to you, you know,
Exactly right.
that can get some more spacing. You know, I had this conversation with somebody a couple days ago. If you get an offer as a junior, you need to consider taking it, because I've seen so many kids backslide because of this. You know, they're preseason, all conference or whatever, and there's a target on their back, and they just never. A lot of kids can't play when they're double teamed. It's not easy.
I would agree 100%. And the landscape in high school recruiting is really hard to begin with, and you add that, mix that into the mix. And it makes it really, really hard on kids. So I couldn't agree with you more. I think everything you said is spot on. And for me, we just got to continue to put our kids in position to have to deal with it. And I just think some experience, right? Like failing at it a few times or a few games or struggling in a few games.
Yeah.
You can't learn to get better at it if you don't go through it. So having kids go through it, have some struggles, and then persevere through it, I think is also important.
Yeah, and Coach, you mentioned one of my talking points I wanted to ask you was that you have a freshman up on varsity, and the kid's 6'6" already at 14 years old, maybe 15, and so the pipeline just continues.
Yeah, we're really excited about Dom being with us. He is supremely skilled offensively, like very, very skilled. Probably one of the most skilled offensive players I've had. It's taken us a little bit to get him up to speed with the way we do things defensively. Compared to where he came from, but he's making leaps and bounds, and he's eager to learn. And I personally think we have, this is my 21st year coaching high school basketball, I have the perfect group of seniors to kind of bring him along, right? To teach him the ropes, be firm with him when they need to, but also put their arm around him and give him a hug when he struggles a little bit. So hopefully we can bring him along, because he will bring us a dimension offensively as well. He's a 6'6", kind of like Charlie Howell, not quite as athletic, but he shoots it a little bit better, but can play off the bounce. That opens some things up if we can get him up to speed for sure. He
hit some big threes against West at their gym, Coach, and I was real impressive with the kid wasn't afraid.
No, I don't know if he's just too young to be afraid, or he's played some pretty high-level travel basketball growing up, that he's just not afraid of the moment. Whatever it is, I don't care. I just love the aggressiveness of him on the offensive end. And speaking of that West game, I didn't get a chance to talk to you, but that was a really good game for us, an eye-opening game for us, and I think it kind of put a little bit more urgency back in our tank, and maybe we needed that at that time. So thanks for bringing it up. That's still a wound that's still here.
Sorry, Coach. I was, you know, as an analyst, I was so shocked, Coach, that if you would have told me West was going to make 3 threes in that contest and still win the game, I would have said, you're crazy. You know, but that's what they did, and I was stunned by it, to be honest with you.
Oh, you're not the only one. I told our kids in film the night before, like, we spent a lot of time focusing on when Lincoln gets into the paint, we got to make sure we're staying out on shooters so we're not giving kick-out threes. And frankly, I wasn't convinced that they could beat us without making 8-9 threes. And you're right. To him and Mason's credit, Lincoln and Mason both had monster games. They only had 2 threes between them. But they each had 20 and 17 points respectively, so that tells me that we were pretty soft defensively in the paint. When they got into the paint, we needed to do a better job of walling up and making them make tough shots, and we didn't do that. And credit them. They were more hungry. They were the tougher team that night, and they grabbed one from us, and they're kind of in the driver's seat now with the Big North. So we still control our destiny. We take care of business and do what we're supposed to do. We can still get a piece of that thing, but it was a good, hard-fought game. I would have loved to get out of there with the win, but I think the better team won that night.
When's the next game?
Yeah. Checking that out.
When are they playing in Cadillac, Coach?
We got a long way before.
Yeah.
We got
very end of January.
Yeah. Okay.
31st.
Yeah, we've actually played more conference games than anyone else in our league, so we're going to actually step out of league after the break here. We're going to play a couple games down at Cornerstone against some non-traditional opponents. We're going to play Kalamazoo Loy-Norrex, which will be a good game for us. So
wow.
We're going to step out of conference for the next couple of games while some other conference teams get caught up to us, because we've already played 4 conference games.
Loy-Norrex that's a traditionally really good basketball program.
And Coach, is that at Little Caesars Arena?
Yeah, it is. It's a really cool experience for our kids to get to go down there and play. I know it's a pretty cool program that the Pistons do to invite schools down to play on the big floor, and we're going to make a day of it. We play in the early afternoon, and going to do some tours of the building and have some team bonding stuff, and then come back. The Pistons play the Warriors that night, which will be pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
the Saginaw native, Draymond, come to town, so hopefully they both play and our kids will get to enjoy a cool experience.
Do they have anything set up where you get to meet the players, at least the Pistons side of it?
No, we don't get to do that. It's kind of, the timing isn't great because after we play our game, they actually empty the entire arena because they have to get ready for the NBA game. But our athletic director is working, and he's got some connections. I don't know exactly how it works, but I think we're going to have a tour of Ford Field during the time to kill.
Awesome, yeah.
Which will be a pretty cool experience for our kiddos. So we're excited about it. It's a cool opportunity to play a pretty quality opponent that we don't get to see very often, and obviously get to play on the Detroit Pistons floor will be something that our kids remember forever as well.
Well, and Coach, of course, George Blaha, the voice of the Pistons, he's a Grayling kid. He grew up here, Coach, and so Grayling played at the Palace of Auburn Hills years ago. Yeah. And George got him some inside stuff and all of that, so it was really cool experience for those kids.
Absolutely. For me, we had to rearrange our schedule, and it's a Thursday night game. It's a Thursday afternoon game, and the Pistons game's a Thursday night, and we're going to all be playing hurt Friday at school and at work because we're going to get home late. But for me, that's one of those things, like, we'll do whatever we need to do to be able to provide an experience, not only a game, but an experience that our kids will be able to remember going forward for years to come. So it's going to be worth the pain of getting up early on little sleep the next day.
Yeah, it really is.
Don't be afraid to go up and talk to George. I'll send him a text. He's a good friend of mine, and he's really easy to talk to. So yeah.
Don't be surprised if I do. So you better remember to text.
You better. Coach, what do you do now? You guys are going to have significant gym time for the next 2 weeks?
Yeah. So we've had a little bit of sickness running through our program. A couple kids have had that pneumonia bug that's going around. So I'm actually giving our kids a handful of days off. I want them to get away. We've been practicing really hard. We've already played 5 games, or 6 games, I should say.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we're going to take 4 or 5 days off, kind of regroup, but then we're going to get at it because we play January 2nd at Cornerstone. So we're going to practice through New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and get a good sweat and start prepping. We play Coopersville and Greenville on the 2nd and the 4th, which are 2 opponents that we don't see very often. So we'll do some film study, but I want our kids to get away, enjoy some family time, and then we'll get into the gym. The 27th, we're going to meet again. So I'm giving them, 4 or 5, 6 days off to kind of recharge their batteries. Then we'll hit it hard starting on the 27th.
Yeah, sounds like a great game plan, Coach. But we always appreciate you joining us. You're the best, Ryan. And Merry Christmas to you and your family. And we're off for the next couple of weeks. We'll be in touch after we come back on.
Absolutely. I say it every time, guys, but I appreciate everything you do for the kids in Northern Michigan. You guys have a great holiday, and thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Merry Christmas.
You guys have a good day.
Thanks. Yep. Ryan's absolutely the best. I mean, he loves basketball.
He loves
the
basketball.
Kids,
yeah.
And just absolutely, it shows in every interview.
Mm-hmm. No, he's, like you said, I don't want to put him at the top, but he's close to the coaches that we have to deal with on a regular basis. And we, Rich, you and I say it all the time, there's a lot of great coaches, football and basketball-wise, in Northern Michigan. I am impressed, remarkably impressed with the quality of the coaching, not just X's and O's, but
the
how they
beings.
motivate. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah,
they do everything from the right angle, coming at it from the right place.
For sure.
Yep.
Building up strong young men and women, for sure. All right, when we come back, we're going to have first-timer Luke Johnson from Traverse City Central.
Johnson.
Yeah, Luke was a great All-State player at Gaylord. Played at CMU for 4 years.
Really?
And,
okay.
there's a little background there. You're listening to the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, brought to you by Sarah Ford of Gaylord and Sarah Ford Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram of Kalkaska.
Jim's Collision in Roscommon thanks all their wonderful customers for their business this year. And if you should need them, they'll be there for you in the coming year. From the entire family at Jim's Collision, be safe in your travels and have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Sarah Ford in both Gaylord and Kalkaska has Christmas deals that just might alter your wish list. Sarah has 2024 Ford Bronco Sports for an astounding $349 per month, plus outstanding selections of Ford Super Duties available at just 4.9% for 72 months. And the best-selling Ford F-150 is just 1.9% for 60 months with $1,000 back in holiday cash. Visit Sarah Ford for the best service, the best price, and the best rates in the area. Sarah Ford in Gaylord and Kalkaska, guarantees it.
Join the Traverse City Record Eagles 11th Annual TC Trim Down. It's a great way to get healthier, and you could win a share of $1,800 in valuable gift certificates. Male, female, and co-ed teams of 2 or 4 can register now through January 7th for just $10 a person, a portion of which goes back to local food pantries. Achieve a healthier you over the 10-week virtual competition and benefit for a lifetime. Register now through January 7th at tctrimdown.com.
Jansen Insurance in Grayling wishes to thank all of its loyal customers, and they look forward to serving you in the coming year. From the entire family at Jansen Insurance, have a safe, healthy, and Merry Christmas, and here's to a great new year.
Brace yourself. You sitting down? For all you Kris Kringle fans out there, I'm going to break this to you gently. There's another holiday gift guy as good as Santa. He's not so hairy and not so round. His name is Carl, and he's not at the North Pole, and he doesn't have reindeer or elves. He's in Bloomfield Hills and Plymouth at St. John's. He drives an electric golf cart, and he's got a bunch of nice, normal-sized people ready to help you do your holiday shopping at his 2 stores called Carl's Golfland. Both stores are filled with the best clubs, bags, balls, shoes, apparel, and accessories from all the finest brand names. You don't need to write them a letter or leave them cookies, but it does help if you've been nice, not naughty. That's just good karma. Do your holiday shopping at visitcarlsgolfland.com, and you too can be a scratch gift giver. Carl's Golfland, land of golf plenty. Bloomfield Hills and Plymouth at St. John's. Visit carlsgolfland.com.
Tune in to Red Wings Hockey on Up North Sports Radio.
Brought to you in part by BlueCollarClothingCo.com. Proud to carry only the best of America's long-standing heritage brands.
Red Wings Hockey on 101.1 WGRY, Up North Sports Radio. Welcome back to the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, brought to you by Sarah Ford of Gaylord and Sarah Ford Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram of Kalkaska. Rich Calkins and Jerry Coyne in studio with you. And joining us now is the head coach of Traverse City Central, the Trojans, Luke Johnson. And Luke, it's been a long time since I've seen you. I remember you back in the days when you were coaching Elk Rapids.
Yeah. It took about almost a 10-year hiatus from the head coaching position. So it's good to be back in the seat.
Yeah. Now, Luke, were you there when Adam Troutman was there?
I was. So Adam Troutman and my current assistant, Cole Walker.
Oh, yeah.
Both part of the class last class that I coached when I was in Elk Rapids.
Yeah, Cole's a big kid in the middle there. I remember him well. But, of course, Adam now starting tight end for the Denver Broncos and doing well.
Yeah. It doesn't, it might surprise people outside of Elk Rapids, but, kids or people that were around Adam when he was growing up kind of knew that he eat and sleep and breathe football, so not a surprise to us.
Yeah, that kid, we interviewed him one time in a pregame interview, and I shook his hand, or more like he enveloped my whole arm when he shook my hand. He just had the biggest hands I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, there's a reason he catches footballs for a living.
Comes in handy in basketball, too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, he was a beast. Well, Coach, it's your first year at Traverse City Central. You're coming off an unbelievable score last night against Bay City Central, where you won 71-15. Talk about that game a little bit.
Yeah, I was kind of proud of our guys, the way that we came out, kind of set the tempo right out the gate. I think it was 22-3 or something like that to start the first quarter. And, our kids, played hard, did what they had to do, because sometimes you see these, you run into teams that, maybe you're just better than, and kids let off the gas, and I was proud of our guys and being able to come out and kind of set that tempo, and really we didn't let up a whole lot other than we just backed things off, and so, yeah, just proud of our guys.
Coach, anytime you have a rival on your team, it's usually a good thing for sure, and the younger brother of Anthony is Owen, and he doesn't take a backseat to anybody.
No, he can shoot it. That's one thing. He can shoot it. But, to be honest with you
and people that are listening. The thing that I'm most proud of Owen for is just the way that he's developed as an all-around player. He's defending his butt off and, kind of getting better at both ends of the floor.
Yeah, and if any of these guys that are big-time scorers in the North, Coach, as you know, is that, offense is great and that plays well, but if you want to go to the next level, you're going to have to play some defense, so you might as well learn now.
Yeah. It's a tough lesson for some kids that are used to just scoring and being the man. And when you go on to that next level, you got to be able to defend and stop people. Otherwise, coaches aren't going to look at you. So that's what we're trying to teach kids.
Yeah, and now his older brother Anthony, unfortunately, last year was injured pretty much all year for his senior campaign, and he was a heck of a player. Was he able to continue playing?
No, he ended up going on. He's at the University of Alabama just as a student.
Okay.
Enjoying himself and enjoying the college atmosphere and being a college student.
Okay.
Well, Nate Oates is a Michigander. Maybe he should try to walk on.
Yeah, right.
Hey, stranger things have happened, Coach. That's what I did in college. So.
Yeah.
How is it different being back on the sidelines for a big-time high school program?
Yeah, it's for me, coming from Elk Rapids and kind of what I had established there to now being at Traverse City Central, everything's just a little bit more. I guess on the forefront, we have huge boosters.
Yep.
That helps us, pay for things. We take charter buses to 99% of our, trips. All of our trips are 2 hours plus. It feels like, so it's just different in that aspect. But I've got a lot of great people around me to help. And when I took the job, that was something that I had, some big conversations with some of our administration and PCAPs that, I can't do this on my own, and it does literally take a community to do this. So have some great help around us.
Yeah, and Coach, you took the job knowing that some of your non-conference opponents were Rockford, Saginaw Heritage, Grand Rapids, Forest Hills, Northern. So you guys definitely have a tough non-conference schedule.
Yeah, absolutely, and and that's great for us. That if we want to be considered to be one of the best teams in the North, then we need to be able to play those teams and kind of take some of those lumps. And we're going to take some and have taken some, but also we're going to compete with some of them too. And we are at Saginaw Heritage and have a chance to win with the ball, up 3 with the ball with 5 minutes to go, and let that one get away. But that is, I think, just great experience for our kids to be able to go and play those teams and see that competition. When you play a Rockford that has 4 kids that have already been offered Division II scholarship, you just don't see that, every day up north.
No.
So it's great experience for our kids.
Coach, other than Owen Reibel, who are some of the other kids making an impact?
Yeah, so we have 2 seniors on the team. So Jack Potgieter is a kid that last night had a double for us. He's our center, 6'5", 6'6" kid. He's been really good for us in just being unselfish. He could be the guy that we throw it down there to all the time, and he looks to score. Where he's unlike most post players. He's looking to pass first. So Jack's been really good for us. We have some kids, the Feeney twins, Rucker and Cassius Feeney. Rucker is just we call him our dog. He just is a defender that gets after people. And Cassius is our point guard that's just been steady for us, handling the ball. And then we've got guys like the Brendan Slacks and the Owen Smiths, and we just, we aren't afraid to play 10 or 11 guys, and that's just the way we're going to play, the style of play we're going to play, and the athletes that we have. So. Well,
that means without seeing you guys are going to run, get after it for 94 feet, probably throw some full court presses at people, and because you've got a second wave coming.
Yeah, and there's a reason we've scored 80 and 70, and that we're scoring so many points, and we're shooting the ball really well. We've had games where we've hit 11 and 15 threes.
Wow.
So, shooting the ball well, and we're defending fairly well. It could still get better in that aspect, but we just have a number of guys, right? And so we're trying to use them all and play to our strengths.
Yeah, looking forward to that Central West matchup.
Two of them,
right, for sure. The first one being, January 10th at Central.
Yeah, that's always a friendly rivalry, crosstown rivalry, and they're really good.
Yep.
And they've got some seniors, and that can sometimes make the difference when you have seniors, kids that have been there and done that, where we are, somewhat inexperienced. We really only have one or two guys that have, a ton of varsity minutes, and that's, that sometimes hurts you, but sometimes the unknown is all right. So we'll see what happens. Roll the ball out there and play.
Yeah.
Plus, so we just got off the phone with Ryan Bensberg from Cadillac, so it looks like a three-headed monster at least.
At least, yeah, and throw Petoskey in there too, so maybe four teams battling.
Yeah, I saw they had a close one with them last night. It's you throw Petoskey in there, and anytime you go on the road, you just never know. And you play at a place like Petoskey, or you go to a Cadillac, and those places are tough to play, and well-coached teams. You talk about some of the best coaches in the state of Michigan in our conference, and so it's you just never know.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Benzenberg and Bauman both do an outstanding job. So, it's going to be fun to see how this develops, Coach. What are you doing with your team? Are you giving them a significant amount of days off for Christmas, and then when's your first game back?
Yeah, so we're actually going. We're going to practice again on Monday, just to kind of touch base. We've had some injuries, some guys that are just kind of coming back from them, so we're going to just try to keep them a little bit up to speed on some things if they're ready to get back into it a little bit. We're going to give them a few days off over, the Christmas holiday, come back on the 27th, 28th, practice a couple days, practice all through the week of the 1st, because we do play on the 3rd against Forest Hills Northern at Forest Hills Northern. So not going to be in school, so it's going to be, just up to us to kind of keep our kids moving and not sleeping all day.
Yeah. Luke, you haven't been back to Gaylord yet with this team. Looks like in February is when you get your chance. Obviously, you probably still have a ton of family back there. Is that going to be a pretty cool experience for you?
Yeah, that's going to, for me, it's going to be really special. I guess that's the best way for me to put it right now. I've got a lot of history there. The gym's named after my grandfather, Jim Monjo. Taught and coached there for 30-plus years. My dad, obviously, taught and coached there. Still is coaching, which is crazy to think. He's been coaching and officiating for almost 50 years now. And my grandmother, who's going to turn 95 here in a few weeks, is still there in town. I'm sure she'll be at the game. So I think it's going to just be a really special time for me to be able to go back and see a lot of familiar faces and be back in that gym.
Yeah, and Coach, you made yourself quite a name there too, though, as an all-state player for Gaylord. I remember those years. You guys had quite a team, and there were a lot of good players around Northern Michigan during your 4 years at Gaylord.
Yeah, that was a special time. I feel like that was, one of the last kind of special waves, and I call it a wave because it was really one of the last waves before girls basketball kind of moved. Mm-hmm. And so now you don't see gyms packed like they were back then. Man, did we pack that place. Standing room only at the Gaylord High Gymnasium, Petoskey Gymnasiums. Those were special times. And, to play against guys and with guys, too. I played AAU with Doug Ballman, really good friend of mine that's at West. And, then they came to our place and played us both of our senior year. And so, you think about the Petoskey rivalries with John Flynn and Trevor Huffman. That was, some special times in Northern Michigan basketball. So just really cool to kind of reflect back on that, too. Now that I'm back in this coaching saddle, it's been fun to reflect on.
Coach, have you heard from Dan Marley since you got the job?
No, he hasn't given me a call. I'm kind of waiting for it. I actually ran into his brother Steve this last summer. I've known Steve for a really long time. He's helping his son coach down in Cedar Springs. So,
okay.
He's doing really well too. But not Dan.
Yeah, okay. Well, no, that's great. Yeah, there's a great history of a lot of really good players all around northern Michigan, and it's a whole lot of fun, like you said, Luke, to reflect upon it.
Yeah, just really cool to be able to, really cool, but then also tells me that I'm really old. So.
Oh, shut up.
Okay, yeah.
Jesus. I graduated 77, Coach, for Brother Rice, so don't talk to me about that.
Yeah, well, Luke, we really, you're a first-timer on our show. We really appreciate you coming on here. We definitely want to get caught up with you throughout the rest of the season.
Absolutely. Anytime you guys want to talk basketball or talk anything, I'm willing to answer a phone call, and I appreciate everything you guys do.
Are they playing in the showcase?
Oh, let me see.
Are you playing in that St. Francis showcase?
We are not this year.
Okay.
I don't know. When I took over, our schedule was pretty much set.
I think they wanted to either alternate
like
Central and West in
yeah.
that, and not have them play at the same time. So, okay, I'm just wondering because that's a gym rat experience for sure, Coach.
It is.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you like basketball, you just go hang out there for the day. The weekend.
Yeah, we were there last year. It was an awesome experience. Kaz Tech and Wayne Memorial, all those kids coming up. It was high-level basketball.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Luke, appreciate it. Merry Christmas to you and your family, and we'll get caught up after the new year.
Sounds great. Thanks, guys. Happy holidays. Take care.
Merry Christmas,
thank
Coach.
You. Yeah.
Sounds like a good dude.
Very good dude. Really good. Obviously a lifer in basketball, loves everything about it, loves teaching kids the game of basketball. Like I said, he was a 4-year player at CMU, a couple-time All-Stater up in Gaylord, and just, glad to see him back coaching again after taking that hiatus. So.
I'm wondering why he didn't take a look at taking the Gaylord job.
Yeah.
Program that's had a lot of up and downs on the basketball side of things.
Yeah, I think their coach is back, I believe, from last year. I believe I'll have to double check that for sure, but and I will check that. But I don't know. So always interesting.
It's all right. I mean,
yeah.
Central's a good program. He's TCAP's athletics all across the board is run pretty well.
It is. Yeah, they do a fine job for sure. And when we come back on the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, we're going to have another victorious coach. LJ Mead from Grayling is going to join us. You're listening to the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, brought to you by Sarah Ford of Gaylord and Sarah Ford Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram of Kalkaska.
Take a deep breath. That's how to experience the fresh air this winter season at Hanson Hills Recreation Area. You won't believe all the ways to enjoy the great outdoors at Hanson Hills in Grayling. Downhill skiing, miles of cross-country ski and fat tire biking trails, tubing and ski lessons by reservation. Know before you go. Visit hansonhills.org for up-to-date protocols and reservations. hansonhills.org in Grayling.
People you know, the name you trust. North Central Area Credit Union. Integrity, service, and value, you can count on us. North Central Area Credit Union.
NCACU can help you out for the holidays with Christmas loans up to $2,500 with a 1-year term. Plus, they offer low-rate Visa cards and double scorecard rewards for November and December.
North Central Area Credit Union.
Federally insured by NCUA.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Looking for the perfect present? Stop by your neighborhood Ace and find the best gifts from brands like Traeger, Weber, Milwaukee, Yeti, and more. Plus, get everything in time for the holidays when you pick up curbside or get it all delivered right to your door from your local Ace. Get a great gift that everyone will love when you wrap it in red at Ace.
Stop into McLean's Ace Hardware on South James Street in Grayling. Knowledgeable, friendly, and community-focused. McLean's Ace Hardware. Get in, get out, get on with your project.
Sarah Ford in both Gaylord and Kalkaska has Christmas deals that just might alter your wish list. Sarah has 2024 Ford Bronco Sports for an astounding $349 per month, plus outstanding selections of Ford Super Duties available at just 4.9% for 72 months. And the best-selling Ford F-150 is just 1.9% for 60 months with $1,000 back in holiday cash. Visit Sarah Ford for the best service, the best price, and the best rates in the area. Sarah Ford in Gaylord and Kalkaska, guarantees it.
The puck drops here for Red Wings hockey on Up North Sports Radio.
Brought to you in part by Horizon Bank, your community bank. Before they lend, they listen. Start your journey today at horizonbank.com.
Red Wings hockey is on Up North Sports Radio.
Welcome back to the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, brought to you by Sarah Ford of Gaylord and Sarah Ford Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram of Kalkaska. Rich Calkins, Jerry Coyne in studio with you, and joining us now, fresh off a trifecta of wins in 1 week, is LJ Mead, the head coach of the Grayling Vikings. And LJ, a really exciting 53-42 win last night.
Yeah, we had a little excitement in the gym last night. You know, the JV game went into double overtime, and then our game was really a physical game that was, one or two possessions either way for the majority of the game until the end. So, it was a fun night in the gym. Had the little kids playing at halftime in both games, and a nice crowd. So, yeah, it was a good way to end what was a really busy week.
Coach, I got to ask you a question. Can you hear Patterson scream at the top of his lungs from the bench?
Honestly, I do not hear much outside of the circle of the game.
You guys hit it
every once in a while, yes.
Yeah, I was going to say, you hit a couple of threes. I was producing the game here in studio last night, and I had to, my ears were bleeding. You hit that 1-3 with about a minute left to go to kind of give you a little breathing room, and I'm like, geez.
Yeah, absolutely appreciate those guys. They've always been very supportive to our kids, and appreciate you guys, in terms of talking with our guys after the game and so forth. It's just a good thing for Grayling basketball and a good thing for Grayling High School.
Yeah, sorry we couldn't do it yesterday with the JV going overtime. I mean, that's probably the latest start you've had in a while.
Yeah, well, for a home game, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a late night, but you know what? It was exciting for those JV kids.
Sure.
One of the best players in Murtis rolls his ankle, and had a couple kids foul out, and so kids just had to step up. And at the end of the first overtime, we actually hit a three-pointer to what the kids thought was to win the game. And apparently, I haven't looked at film, but they called him out of bounds, and so it didn't count. So we went into that double overtime. So really an exciting night and a great win for our JV kids.
Yeah, that's very cool, Coach. Okay, you got 3 wins. Mansalona, Roscommon, a game that you played down at Kirtland Community College, right? And that's always an exciting experience. A little different court, different spacing, getting used to all of those things. Why don't you talk about the 3 wins?
Yeah, it was a great week. We actually played 7 games already, and I was talking to a couple other people just last night. We really only have about 2 practices for every game that we've played, and so it's been a unique thing where we have really had to focus on we got one day prep and even having to come in on a Sunday. But yeah, the first night we played Mansalona. A good game for us defensively. We played a lot of that game, both teams pressing, fast-paced game, but we played a lot of that game in between three-point line to three-point line, and we were a little frustrated with our handling of the ball, just making some poor decisions, and there's a lot of turnovers both ways. And we came out with a good win in that game. Tristan Demlo for us got his broke the school record for steals in a game, one that was held by Gibson Tobin since I believe 2005. Gibson had 10, and Tristan had 11 steals in the game.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. Wednesday go to Kirtland and kind of play a in-between game, right, between the cross-county rivals of Roscommon and Grayling, and on the college court. And so, yeah, you nailed it. The spacing's a little bit different. Guys got to be a little bit more active in order to press like we like to. Got to read passes a little bit better. And then, they got the old college three-point line there. And it's good for our spacing, but every once in a while we caught a kid, throwing up a really deep space, thinking it was, the regular high school line,
right?
Which they have, they tape that on for us, and it helps with spacing, and honestly, it helps with us in terms of our pressure with rotations and having to make those rotations a little quicker and notice that because there's more ground to cover. And that's something we've been really working on. And then, finished out against Friday night against a very physical, very tough, physical Ogama team.
Yeah, the refs really let you play last night, Coach. Obviously, Demlo's is having a really good season, but Cameron Baker kind of came to the rescue last night, had a really good game.
Yeah, the one thing we knew coming in was not only was Ogama very physical and strong, but they were a very good defensive team. Watching them on film, they defend their guy really well. They deny the ball really well, and we knew Tristan was going to draw their best, and he did. And so, honestly, Tristan ended up with 20 points, and afterwards, I looked at the book and I was like, where did that come from?
Right.
Because some of it from the free throw line, but and a couple layups he scored early on. But I knew Cameron Baker had been scoring, and I was a little surprised by Tristan's at the end because he, they tried to take him away, and Cam stepped up big time, and we actually pulled Tristan off a point and had Cam bring the ball and ran some sets through him. And Cameron didn't play basketball last year. He's just starting to get confident and comfortable. And this is 3 games in a row where he's put up double digits right around the 15-point mark. His outside shots falling. When he finishes strong, getting to the hoop, he's athletic, he's quick, and we're super excited about him. And as he becomes more and more comfortable, you're going to see him not making the mistakes that he did early on. I'm already seeing that growth, and as he becomes more and more confident and comfortable, you're going to hear his name more and more.
Yeah, LJ, did he wrestle last year?
No, he
that's his brother.
Yeah, he did not. His brother did wrestle.
Okay, okay.
But Cameron didn't play last year, and that family obviously has gone through some things, and he wasn't ready to do it last year, and I encouraged him, tried to get him, but also supported him, and this year he's like, I think I'm going to play, and I'm like, perfect. Yeah. And he committed to summer ball, and he's early in the season. But as he's getting more comfortable, you're seeing his game just grow.
Well, Coach, I had a conversation with a couple of people about Tristan, and a lot of times when a kid has a really good junior year and he's not the star of the team, and then that's what happens, they have a lot of trouble adjusting to being the first guy on the scouting report and getting double teamed and everything else. Tristan Demlo is really handled that well. It doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah, no, you're right, and he has. But Tristan, he eats, sleeps, drinks, and anything else you can imagine basketball. I mean, he truly lives basketball. He plays, he plays a lot. He works on his craft, and he's tough on himself. When he does have an off night and he's not firing on all cylinders. He's tough on himself, and he just has this expectation of that if he throws it up, it's going to go in, and so he has adjusted well. I think us as coaches have adjusted really well to the way that they're starting to defend him and getting creative in ways to get him the ball, and then other guys on the squad. You mentioned Cameron Baker. We've had Miles run point.
Miles had a good game too yesterday. Yeah.
David Neal is another one who's playing really well, but we've been able to run things through him. There's going to be nights where maybe Tristan doesn't hit like he expects, and we're going to have other guys step up. And that was last night.
This Rob Hawk kid from Ogama had a hell of a game too.
Yeah, he's a heck of a defender, too.
Yeah.
Physical kid. And one of my assistants today, middle school guy, a coach that's in the Little Vikes with me right now, he he came in and he goes, man, those kids, a few of those, they look like specimens. He goes, some of those guys, I wish I looked like that now. And, just a football strong kid. You can tell the kids are in the weight room, and not only just him, but yeah, he played a really a solid game and tough kid.
Yeah, without watching the game, I heard his name called like every other time that Ogama had the ball, and a lot on defense. So it sounds like I know it was a really good contest, so you guys have to be happy with that win.
Yeah, I mean, as I've said before, we anytime you get a win, whether or not you play as well as you expect, I've learned to appreciate every single one of them, and just proud of the kids for this week, man. What a grind. We played Friday night of last week, and then we go Monday, Wednesday, Friday of this week, and then they're in here on Saturdays in the gym with us with our little kids from 8 to 12:30. So we demand a lot out of them. We expect a lot out of them, and I just appreciate and love each and every one of them for the time and their commitment.
I just appreciate that the last minute of that game, Coach, because I was thinking that this one was going to go into overtime too, and I'm like, no, I don't want this. I got to get home.
Yeah, Jerry spent the whole day at the studio, so he was looking to go home.
I mean, as soon as Chad, it's overtime, I'm like, oh, God, and double overtime. And your guys...
Yeah, it was definitely a long night, and that game, like we said, was a back-and-forth game, but there was a moment right near the end where our kids just kind of clamped down defensively, got a couple turnovers, got layups going the other way, and there was finally that moment of... You're never comfortable until at least I'm not. I'm never really comfortable until the last horn goes off. But there was a moment where there was a little bit off the shoulders there for me, and I kind of felt like, okay, I think we're back in control of this one.
The refs crawled out of the gym.
Yes, they got their
money's worth last.
Probably up in the lazy boy today, holding on to the remote control, maybe watching some college football playoffs.
Yeah,
no doubt.
I got to go ring bells.
Oh, yeah, your bell. Wow. Okay, it never ends for you.
There's a cocktail like at 5 today, I think.
Yeah. All right, LJ, you got the Vikes cooking at 5-2. You have a pretty long break. You don't play again until January 7th. And, of course, a tough opponent against Harbor. That would be a great matchup. Let's pack the gym there in Grayling as Harbor Springs comes to town. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, we come back, and it gets real for us. We play Harbor Springs on Tuesday, who's got, two really, really solid basketball players. And I think they're 5-1 on the season. And then Friday we travel up to Sheboygan and play an undefeated Sheboygan team.
Yeah.
So,
wow. Okay.
Our schedule gets real for us, right after break. So we're going to enjoy some time with the families here for the next few days, but then we'll be right back in the gym and trying to work on some of the things that we haven't been able to since it's been game after game after game.
Yeah. Well, Coach, enjoy the Christmas season. Merry Christmas. Enjoy the fruits of your labor, and we'll be in touch. We're going to be off a couple of weeks here on the show, but we'll definitely get caught back up in January.
Absolutely. Hey, I appreciate you guys. Merry Christmas, everyone, and go Vikes.
Thanks,
go Vikes.
Coach.
All right, LJ Mead there, head coach. Vikings playing well to start the season here.
Yeah, and like I said, it's interesting to listen. To the game. I have not seen Tristan this year. I'm going to have to get over to the gym.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we have a schedule where it's conducive to where I can get to a game sometime here in Grayling and not be at West. And so
I guess he played on some national team basketball over the summer, and it's really paid off for him.
Like a junior Olympic team or something in Europe there. Yeah, I saw that in the.
I was going to ask Coach about it, but we ran a little bit over.
We did run a little over there. Yeah. It's going to be our last show, like I mentioned, for a few weeks, but had 4 coaches, 4 winners here today, so good to end on a high note here for sure.
There's no doubt about it. The Red Wings are back at it tonight here on 101.1. They're home and home versus the Canadians. They lost 4-3 last night.
I saw that.
And then tomorrow, the Detroit Lions play the Chicago Bears. We cover them on our rock and roll station 100.3. So the pregame will be at noon, and if you want some great coverage, the Lions pregame show is really good.
It is phenomenal.
I mean, instead of getting 3 minutes of it from national TV, and then of course Dan Miller and the boys will be covering the game on with a 1 o'clock kickoff. And as I mentioned, if you're in Traverse City between 1 and 3 o'clock, we'd love for you to stop by. Jabo Billman and myself will be ringing the bells for the Salvation Army at Sam's Club. So I know it's a little chilly out, so make us feel a little better and come by with a couple of bucks.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Thanks for tuning in. Again, I've mentioned we'll be off for a few weeks, but we'll be right back at it here on the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show.
I got one other thing to say real quick, Rich. So our good friends at Iron Pig Smoke in Gaylord have opened up a new restaurant.
I heard some exciting news.
Yeah, so and it's the Old Bell Iron Grill.
Okay.
So they have all the great barbecue food that they've had downtown, plus they have a really cool dinner menu. But the reason why I'm bringing it up here is, there's a ton of TVs in there.
Yes.
So it's a great sporting experience as well. So if you want to catch the Lions game or any of the great football that's going on today, then you can head over to Iron Pig Smoke. They're still open on downtown on Main Street, but now on 27 South across from Otsego Lake.
Yeah, that's a great place. Been there myself. Yeah, beautiful views in the summertime there with Otsego Lake right there. Just, phenomenal for sure. All right, thanks for tuning in. You've been listening to the Northern Michigan Scoreboard Show, brought to you by Sarah Ford of Gaylord and Sarah Ford Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram of Kalkaska.
This has been the Northern Michigan High School Sports Scoreboard Show, presented by Sarah Ford of Kalkaska and Gaylord for stress-free car shopping. Join us next Saturday at 10 with host Rich Calkins. Nobody loves high school sports like Up North Sports Radio.
Second game today, Texas 13.5-point favorites now against Clemson. This line has continued to go up. We'll see where it settles at closer to kickoff. This is a Clemson team. We just mentioned SMU. We all know how that ACC title game went. Clemson, not like their schedule and fared well against some of those top-tier teams this year. Where are you at on this game? Because I know it's a huge number, but I was just talking with PJ Glasser last hour about this. I believe this could be the blowout of the entire day. This could be a 14-plus point win for Texas.
Yeah, Texas, for my money, is probably the most talented roster in the country right now. They just need to get Quinn Ewers and that offense back on track. I wouldn't be shocked if we got to the end of the year and whenever they lose or when they win the national title, we hear that Quinn Ewers' injury has been kind of hampering him all season long, because he kind of just doesn't look like the same guy that we saw early in the season. But like you said, this Clemson team, another team that's kind of surprised everybody. They looked vulnerable against SMU. They obviously have 3 losses on the season. This is a situation, though, where I'm kind of in agreement with you, but I think what Texas does to kind of help out Quinn Ewers, who's looked a little rusty, is hand the ball off to Trey Wisner a lot in this one. I like over 88.5 rushing yards for him. I think that's the number over at BetMGM right now. In Clemson's 3 losses, they've given up almost 650 rushing yards. And so that's the strategy. That's the blueprint for taking them down. I think that's what they'll get back to. 791 yards and 5 yards per carry over his last 9 games for Wisner. He had huge performances against good defenses like Oklahoma, Kentucky, and Texas A&M. But I think that's a situation that you can take advantage of here. I also don't hate Cade Klubnik 2+ touchdown passes at plus money, because I do think that Clemson is going to be coming from behind in this one. I believe you can get that at plus 140 at BetMGM right now. And he's been really impressive. Multiple touchdowns in, I believe, 10 of his 12 games this season, and he's really impressed me this season. And I expect Clemson to be having to throw the ball this afternoon.
When we're trying to factor these bets together, does experience of head coach matter at all to us? Because obviously Dabo Swinney is arguably the most experienced head coach when it comes to these high-pressure games. And there's a little part of me that wonders if maybe there's some of that intrinsic knowledge that he can impart upon his football team. This sounds way more fancy than I'm used to being at 11 o'clock on a Saturday morning. Is there any belief that maybe Dabo having been here, Dabo having done that, not a ton of experience on the roster, but the man up top has been here a lot of times. And then there's Steve Sarkisian, who obviously is a very different style of coach, who is probably coaching the biggest game, I would argue, certainly one of the biggest games of his career so far. Is there any impact to the guy that's going to be wearing the headset that you think could change this game up at all, or are you pretty confident this is a big Texas win today?
Well, I think you have to take it into consideration because this is college football, and I think the head coaches impact the game at this level than any other. And yeah, Dabo's been here before. He knows how to game plan for these situations. That also has me looking at the first half under here. I'm not sure how Texas is going to do, or sorry, how Clemson is going to do in the long run. But I can see Dabo he wants to put on a good show here, right? Like he wants to prove that Clemson deserves to be here. Let's get more ACC teams in next year. He doesn't want to get blown out. They're going to try to not make mistakes. Kate Plumik does not throw many interceptions or turn over the ball much. This is going to be a very scripted first half. Texas has looked a little vulnerable against the run. I know Phil Maffa, he seems a little banged up these days too, but I can see him getting a lot of carries in the first half here. So I can see that working out for at least a little while, but I think Texas's overall talent will win out in the end. And like you said, this is a big game for Steve Sarkisian. He doesn't have a bowl win at Texas yet. Like this is important for him.
We got about 60 seconds or so, Andrew. I do want to, of course, get your thoughts on Ohio State and Tennessee. And this is the game I think a lot of people have circled. There's a subplot, of course, of Ryan Day as well. But Ohio State, 7.5-point favorites in this one against Tennessee. There's talk that there's going to be the crowd could be much more Tennessee heavy than we all would normally see in a stadium like that. What do you make of this matchup? Is there a chance this is our upset one of the day?
I think this is the closest game by far, namely because of Tennessee's defense. I think Tennessee has another one. They're in the conversation for the best defensive unit in the country. James Pierce and that defensive line, they can create pressure without blitzing, but they're also good enough in the secondary that when they do blitz, they're not going to get burned over the top. And this is a recurring theme today. Ryan Day, like, do you trust Ryan Day in these situations at this point? 4 straight losses to Michigan now, and he seems to be bungling this season at this point, and they're not getting their skilled receivers the ball enough. Early in the season, I liked what Chip Kelly was doing with his offense, but not a lot now. I think the defense keeps this one close. Tennessee can win this game. Nico needs to not turn over the ball. Lean on Dylan Sampson here, and I think Tennessee could definitely pull this one off. Tennessee plus 7.5 is my play. I also like the under first half in this one as well.
Andrew Cayley, sports betting analyst for Covers.com. Great insight as always, man. Enjoy the full slate.
Good luck with your bets, guys.
Absolutely. Andrew Cayley has been joining us throughout the college football season. Rob, I definitely want to talk more about Ryan Day coming up in the next segment, though, because that's the fascinating subplot of all subplots today. In fact, I might be more intrigued with that than some of the other games as a whole. Just what's going to happen there in Columbus with what occurs in today's game for Ryan Day and the fan base. A lot of people just want him gone no matter what happens during the college football playoff. We'll get into that, plus the 2 big NFL games of the day. This is Countdown 2, presented by BetMGM.
Countdown 2 will be right back on the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM. The sportsbook born in Vegas. Download the app today. Please gamble responsibly.
One in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
Now's the time to shop new deals at Lowe's. Get your choice of a Cobalt 8-piece standard or metric ratchet wrench set for just $39.98. That's a $60 savings. And save $50 on a Blackstone 28-inch 2-burner griddle. Was $249, now $199. Order by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Lowe's knows deals. Valid 12/19 through 12/25. While supplies last. Selection varies by location. Same-day delivery on eligible in-stock items. Subject to availability. Fees vary. Details at lowes.com/same-day delivery.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at tryethos.com. That's tryethos.com.
Do you have over $10,000 in credit card debt? If you're feeling the financial impact with unprecedented economic challenges, Debt Blue is here for you. With Debt Blue's Success Guarantee, you pay nothing unless your debt is reduced or completely resolved.
I'm just living sky high right now. I'm very thankful for it, and the team at Debt Blue are phenomenal. They're able to work with you. They're great.
Call for your free debt resolution information now. 800-200-6895. 800-200-6895.
I'm Doppler 9 and 10 meteorologist John Gross with your Saturday afternoon forecast. We're still talking about a little bit of lingering lake effect snow, primarily areas closer to the lake shore. Farther inland, it does look a little bit drier. Still a good mix of sun and clouds. We'll go partly to at times mostly cloudy. Temperatures today are cold. We're ranging anywhere from the single digits to the mid-20s. Winds from the north at about 5 to 10. Wind chills at times could be near, if not below zero. Still going colder Saturday night. Low temperatures for some from negative 10 to the mid-teens as we go into your early Sunday morning. And even still into the day on Sunday. Overall, still a drier day. Still partly to at times mostly cloudy. Still could talk about a lingering lake effect snow shower potentially near the straits, but I think it's a mostly dry day. Temperature Sunday ranging anywhere from the teens to near 30. From the 9 and 10 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist John Gross.
Bureau, so call now. 800-785-9132. That's 800-785-9132. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-785-9132.
The IRS, the world's most aggressive collection agency. They can seize your property, bank account, and garnish your wages. They cause sleepless nights for millions of Americans. Don't be one of them. If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, get protected today. Call 800-312-9970. Coast One Tax Group, protecting your bank, home, and your sleep since 2008. With hundreds of 5-star reviews and an A+ on the Better Business Bureau. Call Coast One Tax Group, 800-312-9970. Stanley from New York owed $93,000. The IRS placed a levy on his bank account. Coast One released the levy and settled with the IRS for $2,000. Mark in Michigan owed $225,000. After Coast One stepped in, Mark walked away paying less than $1,500. Call Coast One now. A 10-minute call can save you up to 93% on your back taxes. Get your fresh start today. That's 800-312-9970.
Do you have over $10,000 in credit card debt? The stress from excessive credit card debt can ruin your life. Collection calls, sleepless nights. If you're feeling the financial impact with unprecedented economic challenges, Debt Blue is here for you. Debt Blue uses secret programs that most credit card companies won't tell you about. They'll help you consolidate or settle your debts for a fraction of what you owe. With Debt Blue's Success Guarantee, you pay nothing unless your debt is reduced or completely resolved. There's no risk. The more you owe, the more Debt Blue can save you. See how easy it is to get started with free information. Let Debt Blue show you how 10 minutes could save you thousands. Call now. 800-200-6895. That's 800-200-6895.
I'm just living sky high right now. I'm very thankful for it, and the team at Debt Blue are phenomenal. They're able to work with you. They're great.
Call for your free debt resolution information now. 800-200-6895. 800-200-6895.
Welcome back to Countdown 2 on the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM. The sportsbook born in Vegas. Download the app today.
Alex Gold, Rob Brown with you here on Countdown 2, presented by BetMGM. The show, of course, also on Twitch, twitch.tv/BetQL. Best bets still to come before we get out of here today, or at least before I get out of here. And then Rob Brown, who's filling in for Grant today, of course, he's got Bet for the Cycle coming up right after this show as well. They'll be on during SMU and Penn State. And what a day to be on the air. We got all kinds of overlap with college football and NFL at the same time. We'll get to those NFL games in just a few minutes, but I want to continue the conversation. We ran out of time there with Andrew Cayley, Ohio State and Tennessee. And yeah, there's the game itself, and I do think it'll be the best game of the day, but also the subplot, which is fascinating. And that's Ryan Day and his future and the pressure that's on him. And so many Buckeyes fans you talk to don't care what they do, Rob, today or 2 weeks from now. They want him out. How does this all play out? Let's walk through it, because if they lose to Tennessee tonight, at home, in Columbus, given what occurred against Michigan just a few weeks ago, is Ryan Day still the head coach in 2025? I think the answer is no, but not because he gets fired. I think he just leaves on his own terms.
I want to start with, and I say this with all the love and admiration in the world, Buckeye fans, Taylor Swift heart hand emoji thing, all right? I say this with love, respect. Y'all are weird. Y'all are a weird group of people, man. On my show, The Rob Brown Show, here on the Fan Upstate in lovely Greenville, South Carolina, available weekdays 6 till 10 a.m. on thefanupstate.com. Thanks for letting me come on and promote myself. I know that's why you had me, boys. We were talking about this. My producer, Lonzo, my executive producer, is an Ohio State fan, and we've been having this conversation, and I have asked him and the other Buckeyes, if I gave you the opportunity, I guaranteed you a win against Michigan, but I did not guarantee you a playoff spot, or I guaranteed you a loss against Michigan, but I guaranteed you a playoff spot and at least one win, which one would you take? And like a solid half of Buckeye fans say they would take the Michigan win before they took a guaranteed quarterfinal spot in the college football playoffs. And I'll never understand, right? Like and I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just saying I do not understand it. So I'm looking at a group of fans that I think ramped the pressure up going into that Michigan game so much. The fight that took place after the flag planting, it was obviously very famous when Ryan Day was seen on camera kind of standing there with his hands on his hips looking around and quite literally and loudly asked one of his assistant coaches, "What's happening?" What, sir? Sir, what? How do you not know? I think Ryan Day was in a Ryan Days because he knows what Ohio State fans are. So I don't know if he walks from the job. What I do know is that if he does, there'll be a lot of schools that are willing to make a phone call to Ryan Day to get him to jump on board and take them to that next level. And there ain't no guarantee, Buckeye fans, that you're going to end up with another coach who is taking you to the playoffs and giving you a shot year after year.
No question. Well, I also think we can just look at their rival in Michigan, and we all know the noise that was around Harbaugh for many, many years, right? And the lack of success in the big games. And then ultimately they restructured that contract a little bit, and they made it more incentive-based. And then, a year later, I guess, they all of a sudden really took another step, and ultimately we all know how it ended there. He wins the national title, left them with some issues, and then is now the head coach of the LA Chargers. But I just wonder, is there a path, is there a story here for Ryan Day where everybody is talking about him losing his job and some craziness out there around Columbus, Ohio? If Ohio State goes on a run, though, it does win it. Is this one of those, do you think Ryan Day can ever have a quote-unquote good relationship with that fan base? Because I think at the end with Michigan and Harbaugh, it did end that way. And obviously Michigan fans, of course, finally got what they wanted, which was a national championship.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think the easy answer here, without a doubt, is go win the Natty and all is forgiven, right? Like, again, and I've brought this point up on my show time and time again, Michigan cheated a lot last year. Like, they made a whole ass documentary about how much Michigan was cheating, and we all know it. There's nobody here. Now, I'm fine with the defense of, hey, everybody else is doing it. Maybe, but like the Saints with Bountygate and like Brady with his deflated balls, you're the one who got caught, right? And then Jim Harbaugh went and won a Natty last year for Big Blue. And forget how Michigan fans felt about Harbaugh and the cheating scandal. Dude, the nation as a whole just kind of like memory hold the whole Connor Stallions situation, like just right to the back of the brain. And we all just moved on like everything was totally normal. Ryan Day can do that with Ohio State fans. Go win the Natty this year, and they're not going to care. They can call every radio show in America and say, I would rather beat Michigan and go 1-11 than lose to Michigan and get into the playoffs. I don't believe you, just so we're clear. And I think that would be proven if they go and win a Natty. That being said, I don't think Will Howard's the guy to take him there. All due respect to Will Howard. Like, good career, fun kid to watch play. If Chip Kelly doesn't figure out how to better and more effectively utilize Henderson Judkins and use them to create space for Will Howard, this is my upset pick of the day. Tennessee goes up to the big house. They ain't afraid of the cold. Their front seven play like absolute dogs. That's how Michigan beat Ohio State.
Absolutely.
Was kill them at the LOS. And Tennessee's better than Michigan across the front seven, fellas. Tennessee in the outright money line upset today.
I could see it. Like, they got everything you just said about how they compare to Michigan, but they got the quarterback too. We all know that. They got a guy that's going to be a very popular Heisman pick for people next year at quarterback. So it would not stun me. It is definitely the game I'm looking forward to most today. We got to wait a little bit for that one. That's going to be later on this evening in Columbus, and I'll be fascinated to see how many Tennessee fans make the trip up there. We know ticket sales across all these games has not been maybe as impressive as we would have thought, other than South Bend last night with Indiana and Notre Dame. So that will be a game that maybe we'll talk more about specifically with our best bets at the end of the show. But I do want to pivot to the NFL. 2 marquee games today, massive implications, starting with Houston and Kansas City, a game that's taken place about 20 minutes from me here in about an hour and a half or so at Arrowhead Stadium. The Chiefs, 3.5-point favorites. And the story all week, of course, was the line movement here, the unknown at times with Patrick Mahomes' ankle. The Chiefs were once 2.5, 3-point dogs. They're now, as I said, at BetMGM, 3.5-point favorites. Patrick Mahomes has had an ankle injury now 6 times in his career. He's never missed a game. So the minute he started talking on Tuesday about how it wasn't as bad as a prior ankle injury, it became pretty clear for those of us here in KC and on our local radio show that he was going to play in this game. And this is the one they